Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, Jaron Boots Ennis defeats Chukhadzhian in the rematch that nobody asked for. Jaron Ennis retains his IBF welterweight title. Of course, first time around, it was a contender for one of the worst fights of the year. However, this rematch was a lot better, I can't lie. It was a lot better. Chukhadzhian actually came with a lot more ambition than he did first fight. I felt in the first fight he was just running, trying to survive. Whereas in this fight he was giving Ennis a lot more to think about. Punch output drastically increased from the first fight. And it was a much harder fight for Ennis all around. Very awkward. Chukhadzhian, he was still moving. He was still holding too much as this fight went on, proving himself awkward, but he was actually throwing shots back and, landed a lot of punches on Ennis. A lot of punches, especially with his left hook, but ultimately it was the size, speed, power of Ennis that got him through and won him the fight. Early on it was very interesting. Chukhadzhian was stepping around the target of Ennis in the pocket, and it was making it hard for Ennis to evade the shots of Chukhadzhian. Again, the left hook in particular, especially as Ennis was in the southpaw stance. Ennis had a low lead hand, and Chukhadzhian was able to take advantage of that with his left hook. That shot was landing throughout this fight for Chukhadzhian, again, especially when Ennis was in the southpaw stance. And the first sort of 4 rounds or so was a bit of a boxing match almost. Both guys landing the jab, Chukhadzhian landing the left hook, Boots landing some decent body work and a few straights here and there. But it was tit for tat. I felt early on it was very close after 4 rounds. The commentary that I was listening to kind of said it could have been like 2-2 in terms of rounds. I could see that. But yeah, both guys were landing. Neither guy was really dominating. The one difference, though, I will say, I felt that despite Chukhadzhian landing clean, they never really had much of an effect on Ennis, especially early on. Whereas Ennis's shots, you could tell they were getting some reactions even early. So yeah, after 4 rounds or so, I felt that, I felt that it was an interesting fight. Round 5 though, Boots really tried to go through the gears. He landed like a short left hand, like a straight left hand, but short on the inside. Kind of made Chukhadzhian hold on. It became apparent that Chukhadzhian was hurt. So Boots jumps on him, primarily with the lead hand, going from body to head. He landed an uppercut to the body, I think. I think it was an uppercut. And then he followed up with a couple more shots. Chukhadzhian then takes the knee. Takes the knee to take a count to relieve the barrage of punches. I actually think it was the body shot that hurt Chukhadzhian. That's what made him take the knee. So yeah, round 5, 10-8 round for Boots. Boots smelt blood. He tried to go for the stoppage. He forced Chukhadzhian to take the knee. But Chukhadzhian, after he gets up, actually lands a couple of shots back. Tries to time Boots coming in. And he survives the round. After round 5... I felt that Boots started to take control in round 6. Chukhadzhian was not loading up as much on his punches. He was kind of tapping and trying to throw get-off-me punches just to stay active, whereas Boots was kind of trying to walk him down, trying to go to the body. I think he got a warning in round 6 for low blows, Boots. He actually landed a few low blows in this fight, which is interesting because he got a final warning, and then he got 2 more warnings later on in the fight for low blows. So yeah, Boots I think should have had a point taken for low blows. But yeah, Chukhadzhian in round 6 kind of just tried to get through the round. Round 7 though, Chukhadzhian had a really good round. Landing some left hooks again, landing the straight right on Ennis. The straight right was landing more and more for Chukhadzhian as this fight was going on, as the rounds progressed, whereas the left hook was just landing all fight long. Round 7 was a good round for Chukhadzhian. I felt that Boots got way too careless, way too loose. Defense was porous, low lead hand, poor guard, head on center line, chin in the air. And yeah, Chukhadzhian was able to take advantage and land a lot of shots. But, the difference was that Chukhadzhian, not really a puncher. So a good round 7 for Chukhadzhian. After round 7, I felt that Boots kind of took control. Again, Chukhadzhian was having moments in rounds, but I felt overall the work rate was with Boots Ennis. The better shots were with Boots Ennis. When Boots landed, I felt that, again, you saw reactions from Chukhadzhian. He'd cover up, he'd back off, he'd hold, and he actually got a point deducted for holding later on in this fight, and I felt that was fair. But again, I do think Boots should have had a point taken for low blows. And yeah, you could tell the pressure was getting to Chukhadzhian a little bit, but he was trying to fight back as and when. And yeah, it kind of followed that pattern to round 12, where I felt Chukhadzhian clearly won round 12. He landed a series of left hooks, right-hand combinations. It almost looked like Ennis was slightly buzzed in round 12. I'm not sure whether he was. Maybe he's one of those guys that's good at hiding it, but he was getting caught flush in round 12, and he couldn't really get out of the way of the shots. So I felt that Chukhadzhian finished this fight pretty well. Tried to, let it all hang out, so to speak. And yeah, he finished the fight strong. And yeah, overall, Ennis won on points. He won a UD. I felt a couple of the cards were too wide. But yeah, he won the fight, no doubt. No doubt. After this fight, he was saying that he may go to 154. Maybe feeling a little tight at the weight. And yeah, we'll see, man. I've said this for a while with Ennis. I think 154 beckons. I think the better fights are at 154 for him. I'm not really all that interested in Boots versus Brian Norman, let's say. Stanionis is relatively interesting because Stanionis can punch. And we saw how porous Boots' defense was in this fight. So that could be interesting just because Stanionis can punch. But aside from that, man, I don't really think there's many options at welterweight for Boots Ennis. I think he should go to 54. Virgil Ortiz is the fight that jumps out at you. That would be a great fight. But yeah, I mean, not a great performance by Boots. Defensively, has a lot to work on. And I do wonder what happens. What happens when he fights a puncher? Because can he take those same shots? Maybe he'll tighten up against a puncher, maybe he just didn't respect the power of Chukhadzhian. But having said that, he was getting tagged up against Avanesian in the fight before. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting to see where Boots goes from here. Maybe now people will see him as a more beatable fighter, so therefore he may actually find it easier to get fights. We'll see, man. We'll see, but I can certainly see Boots in exciting fights in the near future if you match him right. Virgil Ortiz again comes to mind. But yeah, I mean, good fight. Surprisingly watchable fight, considering how bad the first was. And yeah, interesting fight. Boots won. Was what it was. Didn't look the greatest. But yeah, share your thoughts below. Beanie Guy Del Boy. Peace.